So as a branding-minded guy, as a marketing-minded guy, Unicorns of Love really picked up speed when they started winning. And it's really early for OpTic right now, but have you ever seen someone successfully brand a losing esports team? How do you do it?
It's really hard, obviously, because branding is about stories, and people are going to be interested in your stories if they have the opportunity to see them. And one of the challenges, Riot is branding winners always, which makes sense because that's usually what people are interested into. Just for example, our game versus TSM, the whole commenting of the game was about TSM, and the whole after game was about TSM, and everything was about TSM, which is normal because at the end of the day, it's a product they need people to be interested into. And do people want to hear about OpTic right now? Probably not. So it makes easier to win. Definitely, it makes things easier to win. How do you brand a losing team? Maybe I'm gonna have to find out at one point.
Have you ever looked into how the Cleveland Browns market?
No.
So this is probably, inarguably, the worst NFL team in history. They just went a winless season. They went almost winless last season. I think in 2.5 seasons, they've only won 4 games. Okay. They still have fans, though. If you go to their games, people come out and they dress in their orange and brown, the like ugly-looking colors, and they come out there and they cheer, "Welcome to the Dog Pound." And that actually started back in 85-ish. Back in 85-ish, they made this rule: when we sack the enemy quarterback, the defense barks. They just created something. They created a thing. And they might not do it often, but every time they sacked the quarterback, they would bark.
Everyone barks.
And the fans, they started barking. And then they called themselves the Dog Pound. And they had this whole thing where the fans would sit in the cheap bleacher seats, the cheapest seats in the lot, and they'd put a sign there that says, "Welcome to the Dog Pound." And it became their thing. We wear the orange, and we sit in the cheap seats, and we bark, and we bark. And after their winless season just now, they had a parade. They had a parade where people wore wristbands that said, "One before we die." And, they own it. They brand it.
How, yeah. So that's something really so it's absolutely against the European culture, for example, because for us, if you lose, you're out. Whatever sports you're going to play, whatever activity you're going to do, if you lose too much, you're going to decay until the point you're going to leave the league, whatever it would be, from football to handball to volley to rugby. The more you lose, the lower you go. Or in a franchise system, it's not the case. You can lose a lot, you're still going to be there. Then you absolutely turn your team into an entertaining machine. Then it can be fun. Yeah, I would still be really sad if we lose a lot, but we're definitely going to find something, because losing is one thing, but to the point it affects your mindset so much, and you're going to be really, really sad to go to work and to do those stuff. I think that's a really good open question. I don't know if OpTic ends up the season 1-17, what would happen? Would I instantly lose my job? Would they fire everyone and try to replace it with other people to try to be successful? Or would they take a step back and say, maybe we have actually an awesome opportunity to brand stuff? Which I'm not sure if you check OpTic history of actually hardcore winning. So I'm not sure it would fit our values. I would just focus more on trying to win than on branding. I think it's my job is a bit half. I have the business side of stuff, which is obviously going to be marketing, brand, how to impact the community in an entertaining way, and I also have this love for performance, which is kind of the core job of my dad, which is to teach people how to perform, how to be successful through happiness and positivity. And I would take it personal, to be honest. If we end up the season 1-17, I would probably quit, because
you're also a manager.
Yeah, and it's my responsibility to put my players in a successful environment, and I've been the one building everything so far. So like the core stuff. Like I've been recruiting the coach, and through him and with him, we've been recruiting the players. We're discussing with our upper management whenever we need someone else. We validate it kind of. If we need more budget on something, I go to them and say, we need to buy that. We need this specific stuff to win and stuff. So I'm creating what I believe is a nice ecosystem to make our players successful. It's far from perfect because we've been really rushed on time. It's probably going to need a full year, but if at the end of the year we're actively losing, then it means my whole vision of training people is wrong. And I have to face it. Like, it means I couldn't do it in this specific setup. And that's also why I call this OpTic job a life opportunity, a lifetime opportunity. Is I literally had someone coming to me and saying, look, whatever you believe is the right way to coach and manage a team, you're going to be able to do it. And we give you a lot of money. We give you really, really good people around you. We give you probably one of the top league in the world, which is now filled with, I mean, you guys made a paper about how 21 new players, and 21 really good new players came into the league. So now the level is really, really high. So that's the perfect stuff. It's like when you go to school, if you're a good kid and you don't need to work too much, but you still have really good grades, and you go back home and your parents are telling you, if you were working a bit harder, you could be the top. I don't need to be the top. But now I have this opportunity, or if I work hard enough, I need to work hard enough because all the guys in front of me are actually really good. So it's a marvelous challenge. I'm taking it. Maybe I'm going to fail, but once again, I'm going to put all my love into this war.
I want to pick your brain a little bit about branding. Looking at, obviously TSM owns the majority share of the fans. Maybe excluding them, what team, what company do you think has done a good job branding in the LCS?
You and NA? You want NA, obviously. Liquid.
Really?
I think Liquid is doing a really good job at the moment. The way they're approaching it costs them a lot of money, but they're back really full force. So I actually know really few about NA because I had to be really EU focused because that was my job, and I didn't need anything from NA basically. My plate was full enough with EU. In EU, I believe Unicorns of Love did a really good job. If you compare it with the amount of people we have in the company, one of the big reasons of this success is because we were alone in a really niche core target, which is being pink and having a unicorn. It helped a lot. Fnatic in Europe is a bit like TSM. Like, they have really solid brand. One of the main reasons is because it was the first one.
They've
So
been around.
it's always easier. Like, if you need to learn esports, that's going to go through Fnatic. They have been dominating the stuff. Like, if you check those, I like how Riot is putting those victories on the wall, in EU and in NA. So in NA, it's this stuff on the wall. And a lot of people have been trash-talking TSM, trash-talking Bears, and the way they are managing. At the end of the day, if you check this wall, what do you see is a TSM logo, I think 6 or 7 times. So you're like, okay, you can be mad at them because they fail at World and stuff. At the end of the day, they consistently win NALCS for the last 3-4 years. And yeah, maybe the whole world is trash talking, saying NA shit. It's not true. First, it's still a tournament and it's still a performance. It's a sport performance to consistently win again. And they are long-term winner. And those are the three. It actually goes back to one of my dad mechanism, how to explain success. Is usually you have 3 kind of people. You're the one which are going to lose. Lose a lot or be average. And if you ask those people, what about performance? How do you feel? They're going to explain you why they lost. Like, I lost because that. It's usually never their fault. It's always someone else's fault, or the weather, or the seat, or whatever. And then you have one-shot winner, the guy which is going to perform and win one tournament. They're going to create one good song on TV. They're going to have one good movie. And if you ask them, how do you win? Why are you successful? It's a bit of luck. I met the right people. I'm not too sure. I had a lot of fun. It was amazing. Thank you. And if you ask long-term winner, which it's of course easier to find in sport, but you can even find in business, like those big long-term winning companies, they know exactly why they're winning. Because we hired those people, because we work with that, because they broke down the way to win and they applied it again and again. And I hope TSM is aware of that, of how they are winning because they have been consistently doing it. So maybe it's BXN, because at the end of the day, he's the only one which have never been replaced, you know. Maybe it's the management. I usually believe it's the management because they're the one who was staying. Maybe that's what they're doing backstage, but TSM have been consistently winning. So in terms of branding, yeah, like in NA is the best. Behind them, I would say Liquid because now everyone is talking about them.
Interestingly, Liquid, we talked about this the other day, they've changed their jerseys this season. The colors are now black and white to match TSM, their new rival, narratively.
I mean, the first game of the season was...
They were the headliners.
Yeah. So if even Riot is seeing the change from whoever was facing TSM before to put Team Liquid there, it's a sign, definitely. And I would... You see you're doing your job right as TSM, for example, when a way for people to brand themselves is to be called TSM killer.
Yeah.
It's like it's the Faker effect. Like if you want to be a star right now, being at the level of Faker is impossible. So just laning versus Faker and killing him makes you a legend.
Or just tell people that it's your goal to take them down. That's
actually it's enough. Or being called Baby Faker was a kind of branding. Like, you know, your marketing is so strong when people are talking about it all the time to compare stuff. So
and on the other end of that, we have weaker brands, and that's kind of what we see in the team that lost their TSM rival status, which was CLG. So kind of what is CLG when they're not TSM's rivals? What's the brand?
I'm honestly discovering the stuff right now. I'm trying to understand a bit all the brands. A really successful NA brand for me was Evil Genius. But that was because of StarCraft mostly, and I was a big StarCraft fan. And then it came to TSM. But yeah, and those branding / marketing questions are going to be maybe not the key focus for 2018 for the viewer, but for backstage, yes, because we have so much people coming in, so much people with money who wants to buy a brand. At the end of the day, marketing is selling people attention. So they want to know and identify who the esport people are looking at. And by esport people, I mean the viewers. What are the viewers looking at? Brands, which brands? And that's why whatever the amount of money you're going to inject right now, it's going to be worth it at the end of the day if your brand is known. If at the end of the year you ask people, who do you remember from this year? And if any of them is saying, I remember OpTic, you can inject million in the brand. It was worth it. Because esport is not here to move. Esport is going to be here to last. And most of those brands are diversifying the activity through other games as well. So they are building brands right now. They all want to be the next Chicago Bulls or whatever.